Hey y'all, welcome back. Let me stop being fake. What it do, baby? Welcome back to another video. It's your girl Nisha. Thank you for showing up. If you're new here, if you're not new, thank you for coming back. Okay, y'all. So I've been talking about I was gonna start doing book reviews, right? Cause y'all know I got my little book page and stuff. You know, go follow me on the Instagram, TikTok, Threads at Next Chapter Niche, and then of course we're posting on here. I also have a little Substack now, girl. You can follow me on Substack too. I'll make sure I leave all the links in the bio. But we've been talking about doing book reviews over here, and what better time than now to throw out a random book review? What better time to start than now? You know, we got one that's real old, but we ain't done any recent book reviews. So let's get into it. What book are we talking about today? Well, we're talking about Where Secrets Find Solace by Kimberly Brown. You should see it somewhere on the screen by now. You should see it by now. But baby, let me tell y'all, if you're not reading a physical copy, if you're reading the digital, I need you to make sure you start at the cover, the digital cover, and go, because you want to make sure you read them trigger warnings first. Beware, there are trigger warnings that exist for that book, and you absolutely need to read them to know, because you need to take care of yourself and your mental first, okay? Now, there are some things in this particular story that are downright despicable, but it happens in real life. Do know this may contain spoilers, and I'm pretty sure it got some spoilers. Don't continue if you're a type of person that if somebody talking about a book, tell you what happened, you can't go back and read it later, okay? Don't even listen to it, okay? Don't stick around. So anyways, let's talk about Where Secret Finds Solace. So here's your main characters. Alea Chambers, Killian Lake. Is that Killian last name? Hold on, y'all. Let me double check, because he slipped my mind just that fast. But you got Killian. You got Rodney, who I don't even want to mention his full name, because he's a nasty son of a such and such. Okay. I think Rodney last name was West. Yeah, Killian last name is Lake. And then you have Kennedy Chambers. Now, there are some other characters, but those are your main people that is mentioned in the most prevalent way. So we start out the book with Miss Alea. She is 16 turning 17. I believe she's 16 turning 17. Young woman in school, teenager, living life, but she has the burden like most first and oldest daughters have. They're being treated like a babysitter, like the mom to the other children. She's taking care of the house, doing all the things that her raggedy mama should be doing. Baby, if you can't tell nothing else, you should tell right now that I can't stand Kennedy. Actually, I hate Kennedy's guts, okay? So, Alea is trying to do all the things and still be a child. We open the book up. Kennedy is screaming at Alea to come downstairs. Alea is checking on her sisters, and she's going downstairs to see what her mama wants. Her mama is complaining and saying that the house is dirty, child. Meanwhile, Alea's trying to do homework. She didn't cook dinner, fed her sisters, gave them a bath, put them to bed. Like, damn, girl, what you gonna do? You the mama. What you gonna do? But whatever, I digress. So, Kennedy has a boyfriend named Rodney, and she's telling Alea, you need to get this house cleaned up for Rodney get here. First of all, why Rodney there and you ain't? Why is Rodney at your house with your children and you not? See, I can't stand no male-centered mother. You know, there's so many mothers that truly exist in real life. And fathers, be clear, but I'm talking about the mamas right now who never should have been able to birth children. You know, that's a question I got for God when I get to heaven. Now, thank God that this is fictional, but there are women like Kennedy that exist in real life. So anyways, Alea doesn't like Rodney. And if you're thinking for the obvious reasons, you're absolutely correct. So Rodney has stolen Alea's innocence. He has SA'd her on numerous occasions. And she has been quiet and very protective of that secret because like most attackers and abusers, they use people around you to keep you silent, i.e. if it's gonna either be you or your sibling, or well, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna unalive this person. It's just like, bro, she's young, impressionable, she's afraid. You're an adult. There's so many adults giving away for free and you want it from a child. But anyways, so we have that opening scene. Rodney gets there, he's been drinking, and he's calling Alea, he's trying to entice her and get her to come, and she just finally fed up. So Alea like, no, it ain't happening, partner. And he just keeps going on and on, and so Alea got tired and she snapped. My girl reached back on her desk and grabbed them scissors, and she sent him on to glory. Now, in result, my girl gets locked up. She's treated like she is scum of the earth. She's treated as if she's done something that's unthinkable, when in fact, I think she was a hero. Because why is this man touching this young woman? She's a little girl, essentially. You got her mama. Why are you touching anything? I just can't understand. So anyways, Alea's in prison. She's been in prison for 10 years as we move on. And she's up for parole. Now, she doesn't think she's going to get it, but she has this attorney by the name of Erica. Erica and some of the inmates that she's very fond of and are fond of her, they're encouraging her and like, hey, you got to believe. I'm telling you, you're going to get it. You deserve this. You deserve to be out living life, etc. Well, my girl's granted parole. Now, did Rodney Mammy want it? No, she didn't. But, she granted. So now Alea's out. She's on her road to redemption. And me personally, I don't think there's a road to redemption because I don't think she did nothing wrong. I simply don't. I just keep saying that because I don't think she did anything wrong. Okay? But she's on a road to redemption. Now, while everyone has left her and threw her to the wayside, there are a few pivotal people that are present. Her aunt and uncle have stayed the course, who have been present in her younger years. They've stayed the course even through her prison stint. She has her attorney, Erica Sawyer. I think that's Erica's last name. But in the midst of Erica trying to get her out for parole, there's another male attorney at the firm, and his name is Killian Lake. Where it turns out Killian knows Alea. They used to be friends in high school. He had been in her house several times to witness the behavior Rodney exhibited toward Alea. So he was familiar, but you're a teenager, your friend does something like that, you don't know what to believe. And so, he basically never kept in touch with her. But he's advocating for Alea with Erica once he finds out about it. And he like, whatever you need. So my girl's granted parole. She comes home. She's staying with her aunt and uncle. And she gets a job at her uncle's shop. She starts to make friends. Like she's closed off, and quite naturally, she's been in prison, institutionalized for 10 years, and she has this red mark on her back. You know what I'm saying? So she isn't too fond of letting people in, but London is insistent. So anyways. And if it feels like I'm missing bits and pieces or I'm jumping around, y'all, I don't want to tell y'all too much because I need y'all to still go check this story out. It's an absolute must read. So anyways, we go on. Of course, she doesn't have touch with her sisters anymore. And she goes out for lunch one day at a burger spot, and she sees her baby sister that's right next to her. And sister is standoffish, and, rightfully so. Her mind's been poisoned with these things about Alea, but in the background, they still got their mama Kennedy who ain't ish. So time go on, Alea's being faced with so many different challenges from people who think she doesn't deserve redemption. She doesn't deserve to be free, i.e. Rodney Mammy. It's just so many things that is a buildup. So as she tries to rebuild her relationship with her sisters, her mother, I just don't even think she deserved the title of mother, but she catches wind, and she is just how she was despicable and nasty to Alea and didn't defend her daughter. In fact, she stood against her daughter in a courtroom. She's now being vile to her other children because they want to get to know their big sister whom they loved, who they knew was their caretaker. So anyways, Story goes on, you start to see all these facts and pieces come together. Killian is trying to be a support system, and as his support continues to be there, now we're moving into a space. You see the love interest happening. You see the love connection blooming because, you know, they've had a past. They've had, you know, there's a foundation there, right? Although it was shaky at best, but the foundation was there. So you move on throughout the story. Alea is constantly making strides to improve who she is, but there's always these small little roadblocks. So Kennedy getting to know her sisters, and Kennedy filing charges against her, having to move out from her aunt's house because they need to take in the sisters because they realize Kennedy ain't ish to the sisters just how she was with Alea. So now Alea has to move out because she can't be, I believe she couldn't be around them because they were minors. So she moves in with Killian. So you just see everything come full circle, come to fruition. She begins to get to know Killian's sister and parents and his niece. And the relationships are becoming very fruitful to be beneficial to her well-being as well as her healing. And then there's a point where information comes out. And it turns out that the people who tried Alea's case and gave her all that time in prison, they never should have been within 10 feet of the case. You know why? Because they was too close to the deceased. See, that's how y'all know I'm getting excited. I'm stuttering. They were too close to the deceased, Rodney, the piece of shit. They was too close to him. They should have been recused from the case. But you find out there were so many things mishandled with her case, and she gets to walk a full path of redemption. And baby, let me tell you also, with that comes that karma. Miss Kennedy got everything she deserved. I think she needed a little more. But see, let me tell you, one person I just deliberately did not mention because I feel like she was, well, everybody was real in the story and they were good to Alea, except for the, you know, the ones who we've already identified. There's one person who had Alea's back, who supported her from the time she hit prison and supported her even in her time post-prison. Post-prison. Carissa. Carissa was the realest because the way she got Kennedy for what she did to Alea, because Kennedy ended up in jail. Kennedy ended up in prison. The same prison that Alea was in. And baby, when I say Carissa got that get back, baby, when I tell you she was a real one on Alea's side, Carissa was the realest one. So I definitely, on a scale of 1 to 5, I'm giving this one a 4.5. Kim did her thing. If you read anything by Kimberly Brown, you know that girl can write. And so if you're looking for anything to gauge this book against, if you've ever read Fast by Millie, I think her last name is Belzier. I think that's how you pronounce it. Then this book will absolutely put you in the same mind frame as Fast. Now, Fast is still a bit more traumatic, but trauma all the same concept. Not concept like it's just a like or a carbon copy. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is if you read Fast and you liked it and it took you down emotionally, where Secrets Find Solace is going to do the same thing. So you can find this title. You can go on blackodyssey.net, which is the publisher for this book, and find the various places to buy. But I also know this book is on Amazon and Kindle Unlimited if you have it. Well, make sure you check apps like Hoopla, Libby to see if they have them in your public library. So if you ask me, I definitely think you should check this one out. And until the next review,